Hi fellow beaders, it's JP. So here is the necklace tutorial for the St. Petersburg. So we did the earrings and we did a bracelet. So here's the last part. Here's the necklace. Here's how it sits. And basically the way I did this was to keep the design very similar to the earrings. And I will give you a close-up. I know it's kind of far away, so you probably can't really see the details. But basically ended up doing 2 strands like we did with the earrings, except they're just longer. And then I ended up creating sort of a pendant piece by connecting the 2 strands. And that's what we have here in the center. So what you want to do is create 11-inch strands, and then we'll connect them together. So let me go ahead and give you a close-up, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Yeah, anyway. So here's the close-up of the necklace and the pendant portion. The rest of this is just St. Petersburg chain all the way to the end, and then there's the loop for the clasp. So, and what you're going to need are 11 O's and 15 O seed beads, and you're going to need some rondelles. So I used a total of 10 rondelles for this pendant, and you guys can change this up a little differently from what I did. So I made it, I made each individual strands. I made 2 strands of my St. Petersburg, and then I connected them together just the way I did the earrings. So if you remember the earrings from last week, I did that the same. And if you haven't watched the earring tutorial, go ahead and do so, just so you know what I'm talking about. But it's basically done the same way, same similar design. I switched it up a little bit with the pendant, and created my little dangling piece in the center versus down at the bottom, though you could probably do 2 even if you wanted. It just made the necklace much longer, and I didn't want it to be quite that long. So what you're going to do is make an 11-inch strand, and this is kind of up to you. This is totally personal preference. I did 11 inches. You can make it longer or shorter, and then you connect the 2 strands together is how I designed this necklace. So it's kind of an easy necklace to do, perfect for the beginner. And especially if you handle the earrings, then you should totally be able to do the necklace, no problem. And I have all the colors in the materials section or in the description box, so just click the show more down below. Oops, that's my finger showing you down below. And you should have a list of the materials, the colors that I'm using. These are all Toho seed beads that I'm using. And I don't remember the colors off the top of my head, so I'm going to put it in the description box, and so you'll have it all. Okay guys, let's get started. So to begin our project, what you're going to do is put a stopper bead at the end of your thread, and you want to leave a good amount of tail, so at least about 8 to 10 inches. And then you're going to pick up 6 11-O beads, and what you're going to do is go back through beads number 3 and 4. So just like what I'm doing here. And those are the only 2 beads you want to go through. And this is what you're going to get. You want to make sure that there's no space between your beads. So you want to give this a little bit of a pull so you get them aligned nice and straight. Now go back through the beads one more time to give this a little bit more, make it a little stiffer. It reinforces this little loop that we have of the 4 beads. So this is an optional step. If you're using a thicker thread, you can probably get away with not doing this. And again, make sure you don't have any gaps in your thread. So make sure the beads are all as close to each other as possible. Now what you do is you pick up your 15-O and you go down. You go back down where you're coming from. So go back down these 3 beads, and you go down 3 of them. You don't go down all 4. So you go down those 3 beads, and your 15-O is going to sit right on top, like so. And then you pick up another 15-O, and you go across to the 2 11-Os there. just like that. Now what you're going to do is pick up 4 11-ohs, bring those down, and you go back through the first 2 of the set you just added. So these are the 4 that I added, and I'm just going to go back through the first 2. There. And then you pick up your 15-oh, go down 3 of your 11-ohs, just like that, and then pick up another 15-oh and go across the 2 over here. Just like that. And you repeat. Pick up 4 11-ohs, go back through just the first 2, and what I do is I give it a pull. I push these 2 beads down with my thumb, and I give the tail a pull, and that kind of keeps the beads as close to the other beads, and you don't have as much slack in your thread. So you won't have any gapping. Now you can do the optional step of reinforcing this loop, which I didn't do when I showed it to you in this previous set here, but you can go ahead and reinforce that. Just like that. And then you pick up your 15-oh, go down the first 3, and then you pick up another 15-oh and you go across. And that's it. So you are going to continue until you get the desired length of necklace that you want. So, and you're going to make 2 strands, like just like this. All right, and then I'll show you how to connect them together. So I've got my 2 strands here, and I've taken off my stopper bead. So you can see I have a loose bead on both sides. What I'm going to do is pick up 3 of my rondelles, and I'm going to go into the bead on the other side of the strand and into the 15-oh over here. Just the 15-oh, and that's it. And this brings our 2 strands close together. Then pick up 3 more rondelles, and I'm just going to turn this a little bit and go across into the 15-oh here. I'm having trouble there. Okay, seem to have trouble with my hand-eye coordination this morning. And you bring it together like this. And what you're going to do next is go into, I'm just going to turn this a little bit more, is this 11-oh over here that's right next to the rondelles, and then through the rondelles. And you want to make sure there's no slack, and you tighten everything up. And this time when you go around, you're going to skip over the 11-oh and the 15-oh, and you're just going to go through the rondelles. So you see how I have a little bit of slack there, which I got to make sure I got to give it a tug and get that pulled in. And back down and just into the rondelles again this time. So on this side, you're going to skip over those seed beads too. And there you go, you have it. And we're going to fix that. So now I'm going to tie off this thread, and I've got it there. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into the rondelle up here and do some half-hitch knots. So we've done these a few times, so you guys know what to do. Oh, there we go. And there's my thread. I'm just going to go under it. And since this side, my thread's a little bit shorter, I'm going to go through it backwards. That's my little trick of dealing with a short piece of thread. And then I'm going to go ahead and weave it away. And leave it there for now. I am going to work with the other thread. So this one I'm actually going to go ahead and probably just trim. That way it's out of the way. And all right. Now here's my other thread over here. So we're actually going to basically make connect these parts up here at the top together, and that creates a little bit of a pendant for us with the necklace. So the way to do that is we got to we got to work our way up to, so you're going to count off the number of units that you're going to go up. So I'm going to go up 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you want to make sure you're going to be 8 units up on the other side too. So take your needle and go through the rondelles here because those are the closest beads. So you're going to be coming out of the 11-0 down here. And what you want to do is go up 2 more of the 11-0s until you get to this one. And then we'll go across and so forth. So you're just going to work your way up. So actually I'm going to flip the work so I can see which way I'm going. So I'm going up 2. And I'm going to go across and then up. So here's where I'm coming out, go across and then go up. And then we continue. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we got to get over here. So I'm just going, as I said, across and then up. on number 5. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is number 8. So I'm just going to go up one of the beads. Well, actually I need to go up 2. Oops, so I go up 2, like you were doing. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to bring this together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the way to bring it together is we need to come out of this 15-0 over here. So now we're going to go across and down. And just like that. Then you're going to pick up an 11-0, a rondelle, an 11-0. And we want to make sure we're still in our 8. And we go to the 15-0 across the way. So just like that. And then you pick up another 11-0, rondelle 11-0, and you go back over to the 15-0 over here. So bring that together and then continue down. Just the 11-0. Pick up 2 11-0s, a rondelle, and another 11-0, a rondelle, 11-0s, 3 of them actually, just like that. So I've got 2 11-0s, rondelle, 11-0, rondelle, and then 3 11-0s. Go back, skip over these guys, these 3 11-0s, go back up the rondelle, the 11-0, and the rondelle. And so make sure there's no slack. Get these beads all as close together as possible. And then two more 11-0s here. And we're going to go through the 11-0 that we put up over here. You kind of want to make sure this is perfectly centered. And we get a little dangle inside our little drop. And go through the 15-0 and then into the 11-0. And I'm going to go ahead and tie off. You can reinforce this if you want, but the 15 O's, we've gone through them a couple times, so you're going to have a hard time getting the thread through. So I'm going to go ahead and tie a 1/2 inch knot here. So the knots between this 11O and rondelle, and then I'm going to go into my 11Os here, and then I'm going to take the thread and just kind of go back into the St. Petersburg chain over here. So make sure, like I said, all the slack is gone and that it's all and it's not tightened in one direction too much so that you're getting bunching or anything like that. So, and make sure you've counted and made sure these are all nice and even, because it'll be lopsided for you and you don't want that. And I'm just going to weave this thread away. So I'm just going to go up a few of these beads. And you can go ahead and make, you can go and do a loop if you want before you tie up. I just generally, like I said, I don't tie knots here. And I'm just going to try to go up 2 of these. I'm having trouble getting out of that one. There we go. And then just going to go across. And then you can come back across and make a loop. But it just depends on whether or not this is too tight. So it feels like this might be a little too tight for me to get the needle through. Oh, nope, it's going. And then back. So there it is. And on the other side, we're going to go ahead and make our loop. And, oh yeah. And I'll be right back because I need to plug this in. Battery's running low. All right, so now we're at the other end of our 2 strands. So we're going to make a loop for our clasp. So what you're going to do is you should have something like what I call the half stitch. So this is your setup to make another stitch if you need it. And there's our 15 O's, and for some reason I have 2 15 O's there. So let me fix that. I must have picked up 2 and not realize it. They're so tiny sometimes you accidentally pick up 2 and don't even notice it. Whoops, turn the camera. So there, now I got my 115O. I'm going up and I'm set up to make a new stitch. And now what you're going to do is pick up 7 11O beads. And you're just going to go back around these 2 beads here, just the 2 11Os. And my thread is caught on the other end of my necklace. There we go. So, and there's our loop for the clasp, and then you're just going to reinforce the loop. So go back through the beads. Okay, so I've gone through it twice. I'm going to go ahead and do it once more. And then go back across now. So we're going to go ahead and just want to weave this away. So I'm going to go ahead and go down all the way, these 4 beads. And then I can go across these 2, or go across and then down 2, basically. And then just make a loop. And we're going to go across and up this time. And then across and down. So we're going to loop once more, and then that should be pretty good to secure the thread. So I'm going to go ahead and trim, and you can repeat this. Oh, so you can go ahead and repeat this for the other side. I have my 2 loops complete. I'm going to go ahead and add on my jump rings. So I generally keep the little clasps simple. So open the jump ring, feed your loop through, add the clasp, and we close the jump ring. Whoops, sorry about that. I banged the camera. I apologize. Lost my grip there. There we go. And you do that on the other side. And we're done. So here's our necklace, all complete. And I hope you guys like it. I kept it pretty simple and didn't make it too complicated. I actually want it to, keep the St. Petersburg and make this portion kind of like a pendant portion of it. So it's like all part of the necklace together instead of creating a whole separate piece. And also to kind of give it the same similar look as the earrings. But you guys can, of course, come up with your own different ways to do the connections and designs. There's just, your imagination is the limit. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like if this is your first time, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial.